Everybody I have cared for has either died or left me.
You have no idea what loss is.
Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and who else is here for The Last of Us teaser trailer? Little golf joke there, and I tell you, we can look back and laugh now, but at the time, dear me. Anyway, the new show looks incredible, and throughout this video I want to go through the trailer frame by frame and talk about all the details in it. There will be some major spoilers here in terms of what happens in the game though, so if you haven't checked it out, then check out now. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button, and also don't forget to subscribe for breakdowns like this every day. Without the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into The Last of Us. Okay, so the teaser opens in winter with Joel and Ellie crossing a bridge. This instantly lets us know that things will be changed up from the original game, as though the setting is the same, the circumstances aren't. The entire first game took place roughly over the space of a year, with us getting several seasons all denoting certain themes and time periods. During this point in the original release, Joel was actually recovering from falling on some rebarb, and Ellie was out hunting for medicine and food whilst he was resting up. Here she came across David, who seemed like a good Samaritan that was just trying to help her out. You know, the kind of guy who always likes and subscribes. He was, however, revealed to be the leader of a group of cannibals, and he was probably also a nonce. In the series, he will be played by Con O'Neill, so I am expecting him to show up here. Now, Ellie ended up not only biting him, but she also eventually stabbed him with her switchblade, which we see her carrying in the first look. Now, in case you haven't played the games, which, why not, they're great. The entire world is in this state because the cordyceps fungi has mutated and found a way to pass itself onto humans. This turned them into crazed zombies desperate to bite others and pass on the infection. If you came across them, you'd often find them sobbing and weeping because they were sent into a painful feral state that they were unable to escape from. The infection only got worse as well, and over time they transformed into clickers, which were terrifying blind zombies that preyed on sound. All of civilization collapsed, but there came some hope in Ellie, who was actually immune to the infection. Hired by a group known as the Fireflies, Joel was tasked with transporting her across the country, and though he initially took a dislike to her, over time the pair bonded. This is because Joel very much saw in Ellie the daughter that he lost on the first night of the outbreak. Sarah was killed by a trigger-finger happy member of the government, and since then Joel has walked down a dark path in order to make sure he keeps surviving. At one point in the teaser, we see Sarah being carried by Joel as he runs through a stall. Played by Nico Parker, I don't think she'll stick around long, and this will probably be how the first episode begins. The carrying of her is clearly set up to be just like how it was in the first game, and having her like this actually stopped Joel from getting shot because she took the bullets. Now we get two shots of her, with the first being carried in front exactly like how it played out in the prelude to the main story. Ellie says everyone she's ever known has either left or died, whilst Joel says she has no idea what loss is, clearly referring to the death of his daughter. The story is very much about Ellie learning to trust again, whilst for Joel, it's very much about him opening himself up. It's made difficult early on by the death of Tess, who will be played by Anna Torv in the show. He's very much just out for himself, constantly set on making it through the next day, but Ellie gives him something to live for and also care about. Now initially, it might seem like we don't see any infected in the trailer. The closest tease we get to one happens when we have brief flashes of Ellie running whilst firing backwards. Now calling back to the game, we can catch the rundown cars that have been picked apart and also left to rot. Now, I think this might actually be Pittsburgh, and the game featured a scene in which the pair were chased at night through the streets by an armoured car. We actually get the same setup to that level in a shot in which the pair both look in the wing mirror of their car, similar to how the trip to the city began. The pair were ambushed and they ended up having to leave their ride and then travel through the concrete jungle whilst they were hunted. So this could just end up being Ellie and Joel trying to escape from the people that live there, and it might not even be the infected chasing after her. However, we do get at least one when we see the shot of some fungus on the wall. If you look closely in it, you can actually see that there's a person there with fungus coming out of them. Typically when someone mutated past a certain point, their body ended up becoming overrun with the cordyceps and they lay down somewhere and died. They then spread out like a plant into their surroundings and they fired spores into the air that had the power to infect someone. Normally people would wear gas masks to stop them breathing it in, but we see Ellie doesn't need one because she's immune. Now, sites like this were commonplace throughout the game environment, and I love how similar it looks to something you'd find in it. The green brick wall is exactly like how it is in the original, even down to the colouring, which is some really nice attention to detail. Don't think I've seen that green anywhere else either on a wall, so nice bit of decoration there. Now, it took years for someone to end up like this, and we actually have a possible time period for when the world fell apart. At one point we see Joel giving Ellie a gun, which was a big moment in the game. This was handed over to her right after the hotel mission in Pittsburgh, and it was modelled after a Beretta 70 series. I think this will be the case here, as we can catch a newspaper behind her which has Kansas City written on it. Now back to the date, when everything fell apart, we can see that the paper is reporting the cost of the Iraq War. This likely means that everything fell apart in the mid to late 2000s. The original game took place in 2033, but the creative team have said that they're shifting things back 10 years and placing this in 2023, so it feels a bit more current for viewers. We also don't know for definite how many seasons that the series will go for, but I'm kinda hoping that they pump the brakes a bit and give us several in the first game and then several in the second. I'm guessing everyone knows about the big death at the start of 2, and I'm kinda hoping that Pascal sticks around for a couple of years. The games take a while to develop too, and it's likely that the series would end up passing the events of the source material if they were doing just one season per game. Now lastly, we see Bill being played by Nick Offerman. He looks exactly like the character and has not only his facial hair, but also his gas mask and shotgun shells. Bill had made a home for himself in Lincoln, Massachusetts, and he'd outfitted the town with booby traps. He was an old pal of Joel's, and he helped them through the city, whilst he also looked for his lover who ended up leaving with him. Great to see Offerman in the show, and it feels like perfect casting for Bill. He was somewhat of a recluse who'd clearly gone through a lot of heartbreak like Joel had, and I can expect to see him showing up early on. Now this also solidifies that the series will take place in multiple cities with multiple seasons. I'm guessing that Bill's point is in the spring, they end that by getting the car, then travel to Pittsburgh, which will take place in the summer, the fall will likely be at the university, and the winter will be with David. They might even pace it so that's the final arc, and with Joel being okay at this point in the show, David could be the one who ends up damaging him. I don't know how it's going to go down, but what I do know is that this was a very short but sweet teaser. There's not really much to go off, but the small segments that we do have look a lot like the game. Even down to Joel's shirt, we have them clearly paying respect to the source material, which I think is a really good thing. The series is rumoured to premiere at the end of the year, and I think it would be a great way to close things out if it hits that date. HBO always gets the best of the best of the best, sir, when it comes to writing, and I think this might close out the year on a high. Very excited to see where they're going to go with it, and obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the first look below. As a thank you, you'll be entered into a competition where we're giving away 3 copies of Top Gun Maverick on the 15th of September. All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the teaser. We pick the comments at random at the end of the month, and the winners of the last one are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at HeavySpoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of House of the Dragon, which will be linked on screen right now. We go over all the characters in it, everything you need to know about them without giving away too many spoilers, and yeah, definitely go check it out right after this. Out of the way, thanks for sitting through the video, I've been Paul, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, peace.